too. Yeah, they want our babies to work for them, to be consumed in the same system, and for you to pledge your spiritual future, keep having babies for them so they can keep drinking the same blood. It doesn't please the Most High. How many of our children have gone? Brother Lillian, talk to us a little bit. You gave us a testimony already.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. It just
Talk to us how you think it's easy for the young to just fall into the wrong place without no safety net.
Yeah, it goes back to like in my opinion, it goes back to like a stable structure as far as family first. You know what I'm saying? Because young, especially for me, you know, you can definitely go down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? If you're not like around people, especially even in your own household, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the system that do the same thing as this, like as far as this country. And so the young gonna follow what they see, you know. So
Right.
it's gonna be the young. That's why, for me or whatever, it had to take me going to prison though, you know, to actually be awakened though. You feel me?
Right.
So, and I was just wondering like where would I be, you know, if I wasn't even went to prison though, to be honest, you know. I probably would have been, you know, never even thought of this, you know.
Wow.
But it's that structure, that discipline, that hunger of, you know what I'm saying, that hunger of wanting to know who you are, man.
Right.
But as a young person now these days, it's hard for them. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, I'm starting to see a lot of young, you know what I'm saying, starting to realize what's going on in this world, and won't change. But I don't know as far as going to their identity as being Israelites.
Right.
But they starting to, you know, waking up a little bit, you know, a little bit.
Right.
It's hard for the young though.
It's awful. Thanks for that. You know, what I say on that as well is, I grew up in Africa to half, you know, sort of half of my life, you know, and I've been a few countries in Africa, and I've seen a few countries of Africa visit our country, and I can tell you that it's getting worse now. But you don't have a prison for young people in Africa. There's nothing. A prison don't exist for young people. A prison don't exist for young people, and a care home don't exist for old people either. A mental, what do you call them, homes for old people? They don't exist. Those are two structural differences between our culture, which is a biblical culture, and this Babylonian set-up culture, which intends to capture us, so that our youth is always merchandise for them. And we've all been children, right? We've all been children. None of us have escaped it. That's why our culture is very important. And that's why, Brother Damon, that's why you hear some of these preachers do with venom tell people that we're not Africans. Because Africa is the only place we ever had any freedom. Once we ran out of the so-called Middle East, of our real original home, there was nowhere else we had any peace as we had in Africa.
True.
Just do your history. Just try your history. Don't believe me. I always say that. Don't believe me, because I want you to do some. I want you to do some work on it. Do not even believe me. But just think about it. 70 A.D. we got into Africa, and that's a late date. When you check properly, that's a really late date. Because if you remember, from the time of Abraham, our people didn't even want to come out of Egypt, because Egypt was beautiful. The book of Isaiah kept saying, don't go back to Egypt. Don't go back. Your creator needs you set apart. Trust in me. Don't trust on the horses of Egypt. The horses of Egypt today would be like the horses of America, of Europe, of the Western world, which gives us everything. They don't give us nothing, but it looks like we're getting something. You know?
Right.
So, but when you look at the real history, Africa is the place we had the most peace for the longest period since our nation called Israel was ever established. Do excuse me, I don't know what's going on here. Is somebody calling? Is that mine or somebody else's?
That's your birthday.
I don't know. Right. I don't know what's going on. So our history in the place that they call Africa is something that we will deal with later visually and more explained detail. You know, a lot of detail so people can see what exactly we're saying. Because what we're doing right now is just having a discussion.
Right.
You know, it's just a discussion. But it prepares our minds to have a look at things a little bit more. So why do they keep saying we're not African? We're not African. Because they've been paid to tell you to not think of Africa. I mean, why would a man tell you not to think of a place you spent 1,500 years in? You spent 1,500 years in a place longer than anywhere else. Ever. How much time were we in our own nation, Israel, before we went into captivity? How soon had we come back before we went again? But then we read Revelation, there's going to be a place prepared for you at your final disobedience. Your final disobedience. You're going to have to run into the wilderness again. They have a place prepared for you for 1,260 days. Sorry, I get that right. 1,000, yeah, which is a day equal, a day in the eyes of the Lord is equal 1,000 years. What am I saying again? One day is as 1,000 years in the eyes of the Lord. So we run into the same wilderness again. Now, those teachers teaching us in this Western world, they don't want to tell you where the wilderness that we ran into is. Well, if it's true that we ran into Africa, do they read the scripture to back it up? Why we should be in that wilderness? They don't read that scripture. Because that scripture says where we would be nourished, i.e. where we would be fed. What else does the Creator need to do with us besides feeding us? I mean, what else are we doing anywhere else in the diaspora? I mean, the best thing a man can do is eat good food, right? Because if you don't even eat good food, don't talk about looking for a woman. Because you got to feed the family with something. So we ran into that place for a reason. So the Creator is asking us again, think about it. It's the same reason you need to see where you need to be. Now, what would the devil have people do? He would have people tell you, don't run to the wilderness. Stay in the city. But how is he going to say that without you getting suspicious? Instead of him saying it like that, he says, no, we'll turn it the other way. Before they wake up, we'll make sure we paint Africa to look like the most horrible place on earth. Make Africa and Africans look like the lowest of all things on the earth.
Yeah, and they do a good job of that already over here, because every image that you will see on TV is like, it's horrible. Like, I ain't seen not one location in that region where they like, oh, come here to vacation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's every commercial, all that is all negative.
It's all negative.
Yeah, there are no resort commercials on TV as far as Africa is concerned. There's no like advertisement of, hey, come stay here, Club Med, so to speak.
Oh, there you go. There you go. It's all gloomy and doomy.
Exactly. Well, that's the picture I had coming up when I was in school. You know, it was just wilderness and nothing going on there. Just
and people dying of malaria and Ebola and HIV.
You know what's right? You know why are all the, not to switch gears and change subjects, so why are the diseases, these major diseases, always coming out of Africa?
Well, it's for the same reason you already suspected, brother. It's for that same reason you already suspected that made you ask that question. So you're right on the nail there. Because if they can tell you that a kitchen, if they can tell you that there's a restaurant down on 6th Avenue or whatever, would you want to go there if you heard there were so many diseases there?
Right, nah.
Or if they put on TV that McDonald's, there was found a rat in their food 2 days ago. And then the next week they tell you this. Would you even want to go there?
Nah.
And this is in the Western world. If they tell you a place has a problem, you don't feel like going there. But look how long the place that we had sanctuary in for 1,500 years. If you had sanctuary in a place for 1,500 years, and then because of a loss of memory, somebody says to you, oh, no, don't think of it. But they get all their food from there.
Yeah.
China is getting everything they need from there. America is getting everything they need from there. Europe can't breathe unless they go there. But they tell you who came from there. Don't even think about there. But their children are fed fat off that land. Well, whose favor is that working in? And not only for that. Go on, brother Lillian.
No, I'm about to say, it makes sense, man. It makes sense.
You know, and when you go there, and I have a lot of friends who are white who've been to Africa. You don't need to ask them anything. They will confess to you. You would think they went to another planet. The people there were so warm. The people there were so well behaved. Yes, they're poverty, but they smile the most. All the diseases they keep talking about, I didn't see any.
Wow.
More than, did you know that the Western world, and I'm just being nice here, the Western world has the most diseases in the world?
I can believe that.
Did you know that statistically, that's the fact? They have the most diseases in the world. They die the young. They die the.
No argument for me.
You see, they die the youngest. They die the youngest. They have the most diseases. But they're still gonna paint that place where I mean, you know. So, but moving on to the culture section is that when we now get there, we find that everything we need to do is resonating out of that place and out of the people in the place. if you understand what I mean. If you're a musician,
Right.
you want to sharpen your music skills, you don't hang around with footballers.
Yeah, it's a cleanse.
Yeah, otherwise, before long, you become a footballer.
Yeah.
Because that's all you get. Hey, yo, man, you want to have a kick about with us? You be like, I need to do some tracks for myself. So we're in a culture that promotes everything else that we should not be, and stops everything that we should be. Everything we need to be, they stop it. Everything we don't need to be, they promote it. Then how can you be a Hebrew in a Babylonian culture? I mean, brother, you read Revelation where Satan was kicked out of heaven. Let's have a look at that again. It brings a few things into point. Can we round up in 10-15 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah? Would that be good? Yeah? Go to that Revelation. What was that again? Was that Revelation 12, yeah? Revelation 12 and you found it? I think your mic is mute. Okay, all right. Brother Andre, you still there? Brother Andre's got his mic mute as well. I hope he's not talking to us all the time. Yeah. All right, Brother Ayan, go ahead anyway.
Okay. All right. And there was war in heaven.
There was war in heaven. Now, I'm going to have to do a commentary here. Heaven is a culture of its own.
Yes, sir.
Heaven is a culture like New York is a culture. Put that in your minds, but let's read on.
Okay.
Michael and his angel fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angel.
If they didn't tell you and they don't ask you, I'm going to do it. Why do you think the devil was fighting anyway in heaven? Why do you think he's fighting against Michael and his angels? Why do you think he's fighting?
To take place.
Sorry?
Control. To take control.
For power?
Oh no, at this moment he already lost.
Okay.
At this moment he already lost. But read on. At this moment he already lost. He was fighting a losing battle all the time. It wasn't like, you can be in a fight even though you're gonna hurt yourself. So when you see this fight, don't think it was an equal opportunity fight. No, a fight just means like your son wants to just have a oh dad, no, come on. That's what it is. It's not like he's equal weights in the fight in the first place. But let's see why he's fighting. Read on.
And he prevailed not.
He didn't prevail. He didn't win. He couldn't win.
Neither was there place found any more in heaven.
That's the key there. Their place was not found anymore. That's the culture he was used to. That's where everything could happen for him. That's why he didn't want to leave.
He's trying to get a position.
He's trying to get his position back. Now look. Think about it. If earth was such a good place, why was he fighting to stay in heaven? If earth was all right for him and his angels, why was he fighting to stay there? Why couldn't he have said, of my own will, I'm leaving. I'm going to go start my own thing. But guess what had to happen to him? To make him to say this is an all right place now. Read on, brother.
And the great dragon was cast out.
Look at what happened. He was cast out. He didn't leave. He didn't leave. to say, okay, you boys, come on, let's get out of here. We don't agree with these people. He was cast out. Read on for us, brother, I beg you.
That old serpent.
That old serpent.
Called the devil and Satan.
Right.
Which deceived the whole world.
He deceived what?
The whole world.
Now, brother, do you remember the scripture where it says, I don't know where it is, maybe somewhere not far from here, where it tells you that the devil has come down onto the earth and woe unto the earth, and yeah? You remember that one?
The addiction of the earth?
Yeah, yeah. Who remember where that is?
I think the verse continue below.
Say again?
If we continue reading on, I think verse 12.
Right, somewhere there, right? Oh, there you go.
12.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Therefore rejoice, ye heaven,
right,
and he that dwell in them.
Rejoice where? You heavens rejoice. Yeah? Read on.
And he that dwell in them.
Right.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Earth. And of the sea.
And of the sea.
For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath.
Wow. Hear that? Read on.
Because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
He has what?
A short time.
He has a short time. Read on.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Now the woman is the nation of Israel here. For those of us who don't understand what the woman means in this symbology, the woman is the same as the bride that the Messiah is coming back for. And at the same time, it's a symbology for the woman who would have the son that would smash the head of the serpent. Yeah? But read on.
And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle.
Yeah, that's no... yeah, go on, yeah. Sorry.
That she might fly into the wilderness.
Fly into the city?
Wilderness.
Fly into some really nice countries?
Wilderness.
Into the wilderness, yeah.
Into her place where she is nourished for a time.
Right.
And a time.
Right.
And a half a time.
And half a time.
From the face of the serpent.
From what?
The face of the serpent.
That's the key again. To be away from his face. We don't want to be looking at each other face to face. Now, if the serpent, the devil, like they used to say,